Hello and welcome. Cricut recently released a UV changing HTV. This is a great way to make your BELLA+CANVAS colored shirts even more special. Now this video is sponsored by BELLA+CANVAS, however all projects and opinions are my own. So what is UV changing HTV? UV changing HTV changes color in the sunlight. In the case of the Cricut product, it's white in room lighting. These video lights are making my HTV on my shirt look white. Now I do have a UV light here for demonstration purposes, but I will show you more later in the video. So if I turn my UV light on and start holding it to my shirt, you might be able to tell that my shirt changes colors. This is a really fun product. I made a shirt for summer because you would be outside a lot and you could use the UV light from the sun to change your shirt colors. Now you do need a shirt that looks good with white HTV, as well as, in my case, yellow, pink, and purple. So I used 3 of these colors on my shirt, and you might be able to tell the shirt is going back to white with the lack of UV light. So indoors, your shirt will look like white HTV on whatever shirt color you choose. You go outside in the sunlight and it would change to these bright colors that you see on the tubes of HTV from Cricut. In the shade, it might be somewhere in between. So it might be a more pastel looking color. So you do want to take all of that into account when picking the color of shirt that you're going to use with this product. Now the best part is that BELLA+CANVAS has over 300 colors in their apparel line. So you'll definitely find a color that will work with exactly what you have in mind. So get your project idea in mind, pick your colors of UV changing HTV, and then pick a shirt color that will work with both your design as well as the colors of HTV that you've picked, white, as well as the color it will change to when it's in the sunlight. So keep all of that in mind when you're picking your colors for this project. The color picking of the apparel, as well as the HTV itself, as well as the design, are going to be critical to your success with this product. So first let's take a look at the product itself and how to use it. So I'm going to use 3 of these colors. However, I have 4 of them here for you to look at. So these are white when you get them out of the packaging, and they will change to the color on the tube when exposed to UV or sunlight. They are just regular iron-on, regular HTV, so we will use them in the same manner. And then again, I'm going to put them on my favorite BELLA+CANVAS shirt. I love that I can choose from over 300 color combinations and it matches perfectly with the gorgeous color combinations of the UV changing HTV. Then you'll just need your Cricut machine as well as a weeding tool and a heat source to add the HTV to the shirt, and you should be ready to go. I am going to use my Easy Press today, but this material will work with a heat press as well. So let's take a closer look at this material first. When you get this material out of the package, it will be in a black bag. That is so it is not exposed to sunlight at all during the shipment process. And as you can see, this tube is white. So again, it is not going to be exposed to any sunlight at all. And then I have already opened this one. It will be sealed. And when you remove it, you will get a sheet of HTV and it will look white. Again, it'll have a shiny side and a dull side, just like regular HTV. And we are going to put it shiny side down on the mat and mirror our cut just like normal. Now, because this is white and it'll change to, in this case, purple in the sunlight, if you get this mixed up with your regular white HTV, you will not be able to know the difference until you go outside. So I do recommend keeping it in the original packaging so that you can tell the difference between this and regular white HTV. Here's a look at all 4 hanging out of the packaging. So this is the HTV up here, and then this is the packaging. So I just wanted you to see that you literally cannot tell them apart in here, indoors, without UV light. So now I wanted to compare the materials after they change color. How do they compare to the tube itself? So I'm actually using the UV light that I used for my resin to change the color, and you can see how bright it's getting. The more UV light you have, the brighter it will get. If you're in the shade, for instance, this blue will be a paler blue. So the more UV light you have and then more direct sunlight, the darker your colors will be. So the light is not even under this lamp. I've had it sitting under here several seconds, and now I'm going to pull this away, and you can see just how dark this can get. Now that I've removed the UV light, even though I'm still indoors in regular room light, and even in brighter light because of my video lights, you can see in real time that this HTV is changing back to its original color. So it will go from this bright pink to white once you walk indoors, and it will slowly change back. So it will depend on how much light that the HTV has absorbed, how long it takes it to change back. But as you can see, it's not taking very long. So it will go back to white rather quickly once you step out of the sun. I did go ahead and rearrange these colors, so you could tell that there's nothing wrong with the blue. It's just that this light is a very uneven light. So you can see that now the blue is really dark. So it just depends on how much light each of them get. So now the blue seems to be getting a little darker now that it's under this UV light more completely and more in the center. So now let's take a look at cutting these products into a design and adding them to a shirt. So I have a design that has 3 colors. The first color is going to be yellow, and the design I'm using is available for free, and I will drop a link to where to get the SVG file in the description below this video. So we're gonna put this shiny side down, and it does not matter whether the product has changed back. So if you were playing with the product, you had it outside, it is now a pale yellow, that is okay. You can go ahead and put it on your mat and cut it. You do not have to wait for it to change back to white. So I'm just gonna add this to my mat, and then we just wanna press it down really well, and we'll be ready to cut. You do wanna be sure on each of these mats that you mirror your design. So again, for HTV, this cuts the same way, and you always mirror your design and cut it shiny side down on the mat. So I'm just gonna mirror each of these while I'm here, and then we can click next. And I find the everyday iron-on setting works fine. So I'll go ahead and pick that from my list of materials, and then we can go ahead and load our mat. And then you'll just press the go button to cut. This will cut in the same way as any HTV product. Just remember that every color that I'm going to cut is going to look white for now because I'm indoors. So now that this is done cutting, we'll go ahead and unload this mat. I'm going to go ahead and cut the other 2 colors that I'm going to use for my design, and then we'll take a look at weeding and applying this material. This design uses 3 colors. As I cut each color, I kind of stuck it back in the tube so I would not get them mixed up. And I'm going to pull one out at a time. So I pulled the yellow out, and I cut off the area where I had cut my design. And then I'm just going to peel this back. And now that it's cut and weeded, I'll be able to tell the difference, right? Because I know that this portion of my design I wanted yellow. Now when it's on my shirt, of course it's going to look all white indoors. So you do want a shirt that will look good with white, as well as when it changes colors, the colors that you're going to use. So keep that in mind when you're picking both your HTV colors as well as your colors for your shirt. So as you can see, it was very easy to weed, and I'm going to go ahead and repeat the same process for these other colors. Again, they'll all look the same now, however, they will be different once we expose them to sunlight. Here are all 3 pieces weeded. So this is 3 different colors of HTV, but only when they're exposed to sunlight or UV light. And as you can see, they are all 3 a bright white and just regular, normal household light. So now let's apply this to a shirt, and then of course we are going to watch the magic of it changing in the sunshine. So let's apply it to a shirt first. So I have these three colors laid out approximately how I want them on my shirt. I do want to preheat this fabric first, however. So I'm going to go ahead and preheat this. I am using my large easy press just so I can press it each layer one time. So we can lay this down, and I do want to locate it with all three layers together, and then we'll press each layer separately is how we're going to have to do it. So I'm going to lay it out how I want it on my shirt, and then once I have it where I want it to be, I will need to remove two of the layers. So I'm just going to start with the summertime. So I'm going to peel that off, and then we'll just have the first layer. Remember, this only changes with UV light, so it will not change with the heat. It will still be white after the heat's applied. So we'll go ahead and apply the heat and press down. When layering, you can usually go for less time because it's going to be pressed several times. However, this is a cool peel product, so you do want to wait for this to cool before you peel back this liner that's over the HTV. Then once it's cool, we can start peeling this back. And we just want to make sure everything's stuck. Now we want to save this carrier sheet because we are going to use it. So we're going to peel this one back, save this carrier sheet. I'm just going to set it right here. And we're going to locate the next layer, which is probably going to be my suite. So we'll locate that into place. And then we'll peel off the sunshine. And we want to put the carrier sheet for the summertime back in place because we don't want to heat directly on top of this layer of HTV. And then we'll press once more. Again, you don't have to press for the full time when you're layering. Then I'll just go ahead and remove that. And again, we'll wait for this to cool before peeling back. Then we can just remove the carrier sheet once again from the summertime, set it aside, then remove the carrier sheet off the suite in the same way. Again, we're going to save that, and we're going to locate the sun into place. And then this time we can probably just use the carrier sheet from the summertime and everything will be covered. So I can probably just discard the carrier sheet from the suite at this point. And we're gonna press one more time, same directions. This time when we press, we do wanna do the full time. So I'm going to press firmly for the full time on this press because we want all three layers to stick down really well. Then once that's done, once again, we're going to allow this to cool before we try to remove anything. Then finally, we'll remove the carrier sheet from the summertime one more time. And then you can remove the carrier sheet from the sunshine and your shirt will be done. Here's a close-up, and you can really tell that you cannot tell the difference between these in room lighting. Now, I am going to use this UV lamp just really quickly while we're up close, but we will take this outside as well. So this UV lamp, if you can tell, as the UV light hits, it's changing the color of this HTV. So it does change it rather quickly. So we'll go outside and I'll cover this up and then kind of reveal it so we can just see how quickly it would change in direct sunlight. So the UV light kind of mimics that, but we'll see how quickly it will change out there. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this outside, once again, cover it up, remove it in direct sunlight, and we'll see how quickly it actually changes to a color and how bright we can get it. And you just saw in real time it going back to white in my room. So I removed the UV light and it quickly went back to white. So it does quickly go back to white as well. So let's go ahead and head outside and check it out. And now that we're outdoors, you can see that in the bright sunlight, this stuff really, really changes colors. It gets bright and bold. When I moved the product to the shade, however, it was a little more muted, so a little more pastel. So you might want to keep in mind all of the color variations when you're picking the color of your shirt. So I did want to note here as well that after your shirt has been outside in direct sunlight, it takes longer to change back to white when you move indoors. It does change back to white, but the longer it's exposed to the UV rays, the longer it will take to change back to white. So just keep that in mind, again, when you're picking the colors for your projects. But you can now order on the Bella Canvas website. You can order on their wholesale site. Anyone can. You don't have to have a resale certificate. You don't have to have a wholesale certificate. So you can pick and choose from all of those color combinations. So the 300 plus colors that Bella Canvas offers, you can pick from to find the perfect color combination for the project you have in mind with this HTV. So grab the color of shirt, your design, as well as the color or colors of UV changing HTV that will work with your project. And I think you'll find that this product is perfect for summer. So be sure to grab your Bella Canvas tees. My favorite tees are the 100% cotton from Bella Canvas because it is so soft. So their cotton is cleaned more than any other brand, and their heirloom cotton is softer than you will find anyplace else on the market. Plus, if you have never looked before, the Bella Canvas t-shirts have side seams. So our bodies are not a tube. So when you see those shirts that are tubular, so this shirt itself has no seams, it's almost like it's too bulky in areas because there aren't any side seams. All the Bella Canvas line has side seams, so they are a great fit as well. So great feel, great fit, and great colors for summer projects with UV changing HTV. So now if you have any questions about the products we've covered or anything we've talked about today, please drop down in the comment section, ask away. If you like this video, if it helped you, give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, head on over to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. We have videos just like this one every single week, and trust me, you don't want to miss any of those. So thank you all so much for joining me, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.